Amplifying Wellness with TLC, a place where we discuss your self-care and wellness through guest stories, information, and tips on how to live healthier and happier lives. We are Twin Life Coaching and Business Services with your hosts, myself, Barb Schutz, and my business partner and sister, Tara Lehman. We care about increasing awareness around self-care and mental health through this podcast, coaching, consulting, workshops, and a supportive new community. To find out more about all of our services and our community, please visit www.twinlifecoaching.ca. Also, as a reminder, this podcast is for sharing stories and information only. It's not intended to be or replace any medical advice you may be seeking or have received.
Today, we are welcoming Denise Hansard, an author, coach, and motivational speaker, and title of Life Architect. Welcome to the show, Denise.
Oh, thank you, Tara. Thank you, Barb. This is fantastic. I love being with you too.
Yes,
so let's go. Let's get started.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Awesome. Great. We're going to dive right into our first question. Can you just give us a bit of background, your background in wellness and self-care?
Certainly. Well, when I think of wellness and self-care in this aspect, I think about the mental health wellness. I have a bachelor's degree in behavioral science and a master's in counseling. Yeah. So I look at how my life has evolved and how I have learned to address my mental health, my thinking, the actions that I take, and everything that I put into place. And that's what I share with my clients, my women, that they get empowered by that because we can always change. What it's all about. Yeah.
So before we dive into your favorite topic, can you please explain to us why you chose Life Architect to be your title?
Yes. Well, I am a life coach, certified life coach. Plus, I also have, like I said, that master's in counseling, even though I'm not your counselor, but I might give you therapeutic work. And I have 20 years in the corporate world as a certified pricing professional, which I still use with some of my entrepreneurial clients. And so it's like, I look at it as an architect because I've got the trifecta and I help women to embrace their worth, build a solid foundation, and go design their life.
Love it. It's funny. I did pricing as well in my corporate life.
Bingo.
So we know that you love acronyms and you use them to simplify messages. So can you help our audience understand a little bit about why you do this and why you use those acronyms?
Definitely. Well, it's exactly how you said it. In the work that I do and in life and what we are doing, guys, we got to make it easy. We have to make it easy. And that's why I love acronyms, because when you get into overwhelm or indecision or fear or anything like that, you want to have a simple tool that you can pull out and put into place. Yes. And I will tell you this, that I'm also intuitive. And sometimes my guides just drop it into my head and go do this. And I'll go, okay, great.
Yeah.
Have to follow that.
I love
It's
that.
all about making it easy because everything in life doesn't have to be hard. We can make it easy if that's what we'd like.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's really interesting. So the rest of our conversation, the next few questions, of course, are going to be around your acronyms. Right. So let's start with the acronym CHANGE. And if you could tell us what it stands for and, how you use it, how does it help?
Yeah. And this is probably, I have favorites and I don't want the others to feel bad, but this is probably my most favorite. I look at it this way, and I look at it as a 5-step process to transform because change is it. Choice. We have a choice in everything that we do, think, behave. Everything in life is a choice, and we want to fall into the energy of just knowing that we have choices in everything. Even when we don't make a choice, we're making a choice. Okay.
I do like that. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah. And then you get into the H, which most of us, after we've made a choice, what do? We look to the how. How do we make that happen? And typically when we move into how, we begin to shut down. Because how when we ask ourselves that question or anyone else asks us of it, it's about, there's only one way only, and it's got to be the best way. Mm-hmm. And so what I help people to do is to say, take the how, shift it into what's one thing that I can do, because then you get into a brainstorming activity.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your choice, you got the how and how to shift your how so you don't get stuck. And then you go into the A, which is accepting that you can change, mm-hmm. that you can do things differently. And it goes a little bit beyond just accepting, but that's what that means, because once we say and kind of decide, I can accept that I can do something new in my life, or I can do something different in my life, stretching ourselves outside of our comfort zone, because that's where most of us live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that is true.
We can move. Yeah, definitely. And we are meant as human beings to be constantly in motion and growth, learning something new every day.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you choose, you move past the how, you accept that you can change. And then your N is about taking that next step.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, here is what could happen with the next step. You might start going back to the how and getting paralyzed and stop by that. And that's when you just kind of go back to accept and breathing into it and saying, well, again, what's one step that I can take?
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And then as you take that one step, that moves you into, or you have that one step, that moves you into the end, which is your next step. Because if you can take just one little baby step, you begin to gain momentum through gratitude.
I like it.
So that you can evolve.
Ah.
Yeah. So it's choice, move past the how, accept that you've got next steps to gain momentum through gratitude and evolve.
That would be great to use with any client or even children, parents, somebody transitioning. It wouldn't matter who. It's just a very, it's the hows of moving along. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was going to talk about the how for a second too, because you kind of alluded it with the acceptance and stuff, which is that fear of change, and that you want to be comfortable and get stuck in that comfort zone. And we have to try to go beyond that. I literally shared this morning on my Facebook the first time I let a tarantula walk on my hand. And before that, my fear was so strong. I couldn't be in a room with them in a cage. But, I saw my nephews do it, Barb's kids, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And this acronym actually speaks to exactly what I had done then. So I love it. And it's a little bit about overcoming that fear with those baby steps. Right?
Can we talk about fear?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
That just goes right into this. With fear, and this is what I want everybody to know, and I do have an acronym for that, which is ROAR. Tame your fear through ROAR.
Yeah.
The one thing that I want to tell everyone is fear is always with us. Fear will never go away. It's what do we do with the fear that helps us to make it work for us. And the way I like to phrase it for the people I work with is you want to learn to dance with your fear.
I like that.
With you leading and not fear leading. And that's what the process of ROAR is about. So first is recognizing, what are you afraid of? And how does it show up for you? We all know that process of fight or flight. We begin to have the heart beating fast. We start the shallow breathing and everything, and we're just breaking out into a cold sweat. We all know that one. There's one very seductive type of fear that we tend to forget. And that's the fear of zoning out, making
interesting.
Yeah. Instead of doing the work that we know will help us to grow and to stretch and to move out of our comfort zone, we go turn on the TV and watch Netflix, and we binge watch, or we go cook because we love to cook. This makes us feel good. We get into doing other things that we don't necessarily need to be doing at that time, because we're running away from our fear. We're allowing our fear, in the dance analogy, to lead us.
Yeah.
So you have to recognize where you are in fear, what type of fear is coming up for you. And then once you do recognize that fear, then you begin to open up. Open up to how you're feeling, open up to where this fear is coming from, just like you with the tarantulas, you know, a little deeper there, and who knows. But it's about opening up and feeling all of those old feelings that we have been conditioned to feel. Nothing against our parents or anything, because it was all about putting safeguards around us to keep us safe.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We can be healthy and safe and not anything hurt us. But we want to understand how to open up to those feelings and feel those old feelings, because then we get to accept a new way of feeling, to stepping into it. Once we recognize it and we look at the old feelings, here comes the choice. We get to accept of, is this truly me? Is this where I want to be? Because then once you can accept new feelings, you go into the last step, which is a two-parter. You want to release and replace. You want to that. Yeah, you want to release those old feelings to replace them with the new feelings. And here's the key behind that. You can't just release, because then you create this emptiness inside. And the universe hates a void, It wants to fill it with something else. And if you don't replace it, you're going to go back to your old pattern. You're going to go back to that comfort zone, which we all love. So you have to be very disciplined in releasing and then replacing it with a new way of talking, a new way of thinking, a new way of acting, new behaviors. And you want to continue that behavior or that discipline on release and replace, so that you then become a new person. So you recognize, open up, accept, release, and replace.
I like that one.
You're dancing with your fear, leading.
Yeah. And I like the very end part there too, because it's almost, you have to make it a habit or you're just going to fall back. Right. Exactly. So, not necessarily holding a tarantula every day when you were at a science center doing that. But if there was something else that is holding you back, as soon as you change, you can't not continue working on that, or you're just,
Yeah. And I want to go back to something else you talked about, which is fear is always there. And it's so true, because if you overcome a fear, there's still one there. So if I go to my tarantula fear, I'm okay with tarantulas, but you put a spider in front of me, I'm not so okay. I haven't overcome everything. There's always going to be some fear in our life. And as soon as you overcome one, another one almost gets created, depending on what it is, of course. So I like that you touched on that. That's a great acronym.
I've heard a lot of people say, I'm fearless. And I go, you're just stuffing down the fear, trying to convince yourself that you don't have fear at all. And I visualize this in a way of, I'm taking a beach ball, fully inflated, pushing it down under the water while I'm in the swimming pool, and thinking that if I just release my hands, that beach ball will be fine and will stay there. But it doesn't. It comes back up and slaps us in the face. Even more so than ever, just like our fear does.
That's a really good analogy.
I like it. So I'm going to pivot now to your acronym PIVOT, PIVOT. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that one and how it helps us simplify our messages as well?
So pivot to me is a very, very short and easy tool to put into your life. I think about it. I played basketball when I was growing up. I'm barely 5'2" now if I tease my hair and just pull it all up.
Too.
Exactly. So I learned to do the 3-point shot from the outside, and I was really good at it. And when the other team realized I was really good at it, what did they do but double team me, guarding me? And I had to pivot, which meant I had to find another way. So the pivot itself, when you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, fearful, and even sometimes overexcited to where you become paralyzed because the energies are the same. Here's the first thing to do. You pause. I tell people to hit that big red button in your head that says pause or stop.
Mm-hmm.
Get it hard, and then settle in and breathe. Because when we get into overwhelm or anything like that, we go into shallow breathing and we cut the oxygen off to our brain.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to breathe and get back into our body. And as we do that and the oxygen flows back in, you suddenly start having ideas or innovation.
Love it. Love it.
You pause and innovate. And once you begin to have that multitude of innovative ideas, then you get to voice your vision for what you want to do.
I like
and if
that.
you voice that vision, you own it.
That's true. Yeah.
You transform. So pause, innovate, voice a vision, own it, and transform.
Wow,
Nice.
I really like that. You can use a lot of these acronyms and a lot of different aspects of life.
Totally.
Good.
That's the one thing I do is I help my clients to see that you may be coming to me because of your profession and your career. And let's see how we could apply it to your personal life too, because you have one life. And that's
yes. So true. So do you have like a favorite acronym that would be awesome for our audience today? That maybe we haven't talked about.
That we haven't talked about? There is one that really did drop down in, and it's called HEAL.
Okay.
HEAL. And I'm just going to give you the acronym because I have 2 videos on it on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. It's honor emotions, activate love.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. Because when you honor how you're feeling, your emotions, and you replace it with love, you activate that love inside of you.
Yeah.
And
you learn to appreciate. Sorry. You learn to appreciate yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we'll be checking out those videos today.
Yeah.
Because we'll definitely go in depth on the process.
Yeah. All right. Do you have a key takeaway for our audience today?
Everything in life is a choice, and choose wisely.
I do love it.
Yeah.
I do love it. So if our audience wanted to find out more about you, how can they find you online?
If you'll just Google Denise Hansard, DeniseHansard, you'll find my website, you'll find my YouTube channel, you'll find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. That's as far as I go.
That's a lot, right?
Yeah. Or you feel free to email me at Denise@DeniseHansard.com. Happy to give you some of the freebies, sign you up for my newsletter, do whatever, or have conversations. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the conversation today, Denise. I love the acronyms. That's just really, really great. Yeah. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
We want to remind our listeners of our Great New Amplifying Your Wellness with TLC community as well. That is something that's new for us, and we're very excited about it. We're here for you, and we can help through all kinds of things with our community, such as free discussion groups, free ebooks, workshops, resources, discounts on our coaching, and a lot more to come. You can find the link on our website to explore more as well. So we hope to see you there.
And of course, thank you to our listeners for joining us today. The 3 of us hope you were able to take away some great key points or maybe a new favorite acronym that can help you on your self-care journey. To learn more about all our services and our supportive Amplifying Your Wellness TLC community that Barb just mentioned, please visit twinlifecoaching.ca. Until next time, remember, you've got this.